Hello everyone, welcome back to another Brickside Chat. This one's a little bit delayed. Usually it would have come out on Sunday. Today, or when you're watching this, will be Wednesday when it releases, so sorry for the delay on that, but as a lot of you know, we, during this weekend, have been working on something special, so that's partially why all the drawers and stuff are covered with this plastic behind me. It's so they don't get damaged with, or dirty with what we're doing, so I don't know if that's a little bit of a hint, but that'll be coming out soon. We'll let you know obviously what we're working on and what we had finished. That project went a little bit longer than expected, but we have a lot of questions. So if your question is not answered in this Brickside Chat, it will be answered in the next one coming out on Sunday. I've got so many questions that they don't fit in one, not even close. I actually put out a community post and asked you guys if you had questions. A lot of you did. So we've got tons of questions. But first one today is from Heather, who says, do you ever go back and look at parts you have in your inventory to see if the last 6 months sales price has changed either up or down? And yes, we do, but what we do is we don't go back and manually look through each of them. Instead, what we do is as we're going through, well, actually, I guess let me say this. We use a program called Brickstock. Brickstock? There's so many bricks. Brickstock, I think. I'll put a link down below to it, but essentially Brickstock allows us to see our whole inventory and easily update all of our prices at once. So what we actually do in there is select all of the items that we want to update, and we'll update them to the 6 months average about once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks if we don't get to it. And that keeps our inventory average price at that 6 month sales average or so. Or we can raise everything up 10% real easily or lower it. We can do a lot of things before we update our prices from there. So that's what we do. So yes, we are constantly looking, I guess, at what our prices are and constantly adjusting to that 6 month sales average. Another question from Heather is, what are the most popular parts in your inventory? And that's a hard one to say because everything sells in and out so differently at different times and stuff, but it's very safe to say dark bluish gray bricks are common to get out of our store real quick. Anytime we add any dark bluish gray brick pieces, those leave really, really fast. So I would say those are probably our best selling parts, or our quickest selling parts. I don't know if they're our best selling, but they get out of the store really, really quickly because people are doing Star Wars mocks and stuff like that. So I think everyone wants dark bluish gray brick. So that does not stick around very long. Next question is from Brick Crumbs, who says, now that you've been running for 7 months, have you looked at your inventory based on upload dates to see how quickly you're turning lots? Not exactly, and part of the reason for that is we can't necessarily look at our inventory in the past unless we downloaded it specifically. So we don't retain our items in our inventory after it's been sold out, meaning we don't keep the item in our inventory and the information for it after it's sold. It just goes away, it's gone. It doesn't say zero quantity, it's just out of our inventory. So we can't actually easily look back and see what has sold and what hasn't sold, because if it has sold and we sold all of the lot, we have 0 items of that, it's not even in our inventory anymore. So it's hard to see how quickly we're turning lots, but considering that we're constantly pulling, every order, not every order, but a lot of orders, I constantly feel like you pull the drawer out and you pour the whole drawer in a bag, and then that drawer is just empty. So I do feel like we're turning lots a lot. I don't have the information to see how quickly we're turning certain lots, or if some lots are turning, way better than others, or some are not selling at all, or any of that stuff. So unfortunately, I don't have that information. I'm sure we could go find it, but it would be a lot of work. Kind of tying into that, Nico asks, are there any parts you've never sold any of? Yes, quite a few most likely. A lot of it just has to do with the fact that we're adding parts to our store constantly, or maybe not constantly, but very often. So we may have never had this part in our inventory before. We're adding it to our inventory, and it'll maybe not sell for a week. And if it doesn't sell in that week, technically we've never sold it. On top of that, there are parts that are just not in high demand. And as we're going through and stuff, and this past weekend we had a sale actually, a lot of what we did was when we went through each item, we actually customized each sale price for every single item. And we can look at them and see oh, we've had this forever, this is never going to sell. If that was what we thought the case was, then we'd put it maybe 40% off as opposed to 20 or something, so it would sell. So there's ways to sell those parts, but absolutely, I think every store has parts that they've just never sold that are just kind of sitting there. Next question comes from Brick Facin. I'm so sorry if I messed up that name. Do you think it's possible for a family to be able to live on the sales of used Lego? Now, this is a hard question, and very simply, I want to say no. But I do think there is a possibility for that to become a yes. I'm going to say no because of the amount of work and stuff that needs to be involved in it in order to build it big enough to make enough money. It's very hard to invest all the time and energy, I would say, to grow a used Lego store in order to be big enough that you can support yourself and your family. I would also say that it's going to be difficult for you to work alone to grow it that big, or once you are that big, to maintain it that as large as it is, with as many sales as you would need to be able to support a family and stuff, just selling used Lego pieces. So simple answer, I guess, would be no, but it is possible. You can do it. You could turn it into a real business, and you can make it, have more people involved, have worker or employees, and like all these things, and you can do it, but it is a lot of work, and it's a hard road, I think, to get there. But if you really want to, I'd say go for it. Give it a shot. Just you got to be smart at that point, really, with your money and stuff, as to how you're opening and running the store. Assist Official asks, is it hard to run a store on BrickLink that only sells new and used sets? Hard to run that store? I don't think so. I don't think it's hard at all, primarily because you're actually dealing with much larger objects as opposed to individual parts. What I would say is that it might be hard to financially run that store in terms of turning the sets over and making money off them, making a profit. You might be able to make a profit in terms of like a $10 profit on a set that you purchased 6 months ago and it sat there for 6 months and now you made $10 or $15 more on it, which maybe is what you want to do. But if that's not what you want to do, if you want to make decent, much better money, that's going to be a lot harder to do, I think, with new and used sets, primarily because you can't always, people aren't always in demand, or sets aren't always in demand constantly. If they are in demand and people are trying to get them, the chance of you getting them at a really good price from a different place is lower as well, so it's harder to make more money on that. But it is a lot less work than parting out parts or pieces. A lot less work. You just list the set and it sits now. But you do need, obviously, like a place to store that or something, like a shelf or something where that can all sit so it doesn't get damaged or ruined or anything. So is it hard? Not at all. Is it hard to make money? Sorta. It's harder to make more profit. You definitely have a higher profit percentage or profit margin on pieces when you're parting out sets and stuff, or if you're selling used pieces, for sure. Next question is from George Rustin, who says, have you ever considered doing Lego set reviews? Kind of. Yes and no. When we build a set, so Paul and I think have each done 1 or 2 reviews now. When we build a set, we'll kind of do a review. It's not like a super official review or anything. We just kind of give our basic general thoughts on that set. But there's so many Lego YouTubers out there, Jang Bricks, M&R Productions, and there's many more that do Lego set reviews specifically. That's what they're really good at. They have other stuff, obviously, and stuff, but they go and get all the new Lego sets and stuff. So most likely, no, we're not going to focus on Lego set reviews. We're going to focus on BrickLink, as well as expand into the Lego entertainment, I guess, if you want to go on that route, where we'll do some reviews and stuff of things here and there, but we're not going to focus on set reviews, just because I feel like that market is already so saturated with people who are really, really good at it. So I feel like it'd be, I don't want to say counterintuitive, but it wouldn't be helpful to us to try to get into that and try to, review a set that you can already go watch on M&R Productions. We might as well do something different, something exciting, something new that you guys can see, as opposed to the same thing that 10 channels are doing over and over and over again. Next question, or next couple questions, come from Chris, who says, a couple questions related to your expansion. Do you not have enough sets to fill the drawers, or are you waiting for enough time to part out and fill them? It's a little bit of both, I think. We're waiting for some time. We do have sets now. If you've seen our latest haul video, we do have quite a few sets and quite a few parts to add to the store. I think somewhere upwards of almost 40,000. I could be wrong on that. Maybe like 30,000. But we do have a lot of pieces to put into the store. Not enough to fill up the drawers. Part of it, though, like I said, is just finding the time to actually part everything out. We got ourselves in the middle of this project now. And I don't know if this gives anything away, but we're in the middle of a project now where we can't really part out sets, or we could, but we might as well finish this and then go part out some sets. So the time, we'll start filling them, but we also have more drawers than we need, which is a good thing because, we're not necessarily stuck in terms of the size of our store. We still have plenty of room to expand. Also, this whole side of the wall is planned to eventually have drawers as well. So once the aisleway fills up completely, we have this whole side to expand. So we'll be good, I imagine, unless something crazy happens, we'll be good all the way through the rest of 2020. Second question from Chris says, why did you number the drawers on the right side of the aisleway, not the end of the aisleway? So the reason we did that was just because we needed more large drawers. That was the simplest answer, actually. We needed more large drawers at the moment, and I didn't have all the stickers printed out. Plus, I didn't want to sticker, 256, 512 drawers or something, times 2, because we put a barcode on the back. So I didn't want to put 1,000 plus stickers on, plus another 200, almost 500 drawers just to get to the large drawers that we needed at the bottom of the right side of our aisleway. So the numbers are accounted for. We skipped all those numbers. So we start at the bottom left. I think it ends at 2,080, and the top one starts at 26 something. So we still have all the numbers and stuff. We just have to actually physically sticker those drawers. So we skipped them for the moment, but they will be used potentially. We might rearrange our aisles soon. That'll be a thing we'll look into. Next question comes from Knight40K. Have you encountered any non-paying buyers? How many times should you attempt to make contact, and what would you consider a reasonable amount of time before filing a non-paying buyer alert? So yes, not in the past 7 months. In the past 7 months, that we've been running our store now, as I keep saying, professionally, or with a much, much larger inventory, we've not encountered any non-paying buyers. Everyone pays. Sometimes it's a little delayed. I think the longest one actually was this past weekend. We had an order almost a week ago, and we waited 5 days for payment on that one. Usually what I'll do is I'll send an invoice if they request an invoice. Once that invoice is requested, obviously, we'll get that sent out. And then if they don't pay within 24 hours, we send one reminder invoice. And all these numbers are, kind of iffy. They're not constant. We don't actually get a lot of invoice requests. But around 24 hours after that first invoice is sent, we'll send one reminder. After that, we'll wait a couple more days, 2, maybe 3 more days, send one more reminder invoice. And then after that third invoice or that second reminder, maybe a couple more days later, maybe it's been a week now since the initial invoice has been sent. At that point, we'll send them an email. And that's the point we got to with this last buyer, who then replied and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize this invoice was for that order. I thought it was for a past thing." And I didn't quite understand the explanation, but they went and paid that invoice pretty much right away after that email was sent. So it just was the matter of sending them a different email as opposed to sending them another invoice. So we will wait about a week, maybe to be totally honest, probably about 10 days, maybe 14 if we're really feeling it, if we're being nice, before we would consider, filing a non-paying buyer alert. But with that being said, of course, we're going to contact them multiple times and send that invoice as a reminder a few times, just to, we don't want to send one invoice and then file a non-paying buyer. We want to really give them the chance to hopefully, attempt to pay that invoice if they're able to. And last question from Jean-Philippe says, where do you see your store in 5 years? That's a fantastic question. I want to say personally, in my own happy fantasy world, I guess, I would love to have a store that has over 1 million pieces, probably, 20,000 lots would be incredible. And to be totally honest, I think most likely I'd think that used and new pieces, both, would be really cool. Right now we're pretty much solely new. We have a couple used parts. Out of our 140,000 pieces in our store, we maybe have honestly 10, if that. I don't even know if we have that many used pieces in our store. So where do we see our store in 5 years? I would hope over 1 million pieces, 15 to 20,000 lots, some massive warehouse with a ton of storage and stuff. That would be really, really cool, and hopefully making enough money where I probably couldn't be able to support myself, and Paul and Kyle probably. I think any of us expect this to be a job where we can fully support ourselves, but hopefully something that can supplement a little bit of income for us, or potentially if we need to at some point when we want to take a step back from this, we can at least pay people to come in and do the work that we need to continue doing to keep the business running. So that I guess would be where I see our store in 5 years, potentially though. Our journey's just begun. We're only 7 months in, so we'll see where everything goes, and you'll be there with us. That's pretty much it for this episode of Brickside Chat. Went over quite a few questions. Like I said, on Sunday we'll have a lot more questions. As always, if you have any questions for Brickside Chat, go ahead and put them in the comments below. I can't guarantee they'll be on Sunday because we have so many more to go over, but I will try my best to squeeze them in if possible. If they won't come this Sunday, they'll come the following week. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a like if you did enjoy the video. If you're not subscribed and you're new to the channel, welcome. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. And check out our Discord. And if you're interested, we also have a Patreon page where you get exclusive little perks and stuff as well. Thank you guys so much once again. We'll see you guys in the next video.